Today we will hear from Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg to discuss DOT's budget priorities for fiscal year 2023 and DOT's budget request $142 billion in fiscal year 2023. For context, this represents a 60% increase from the Trump administration's last DOT budget request of $89 billion. This is a significant increase is thanks to members of Congress in a bipartisan fashion and President Biden for making historic investments in our nation's infrastructure to create jobs, prepare our nations to remain competitive in the 21st century. The President's infrastructure package aims to solve freight transportation challenges we are seeing today. Our freight infrastructure was operating above capacity before the pandemic, but it was not able to handle a 44% increase in e-commerce sales in 2 years. Every part of our supply chain is strained due to capacity issues. Since the middle of 2021, the number of container ships waiting for a dock at U.S. ports have more than doubled, peaking at 150 in early February. Highway congestion has increased truck operating costs by $74 billion. So freight services issues have increased the cost of moving a single rail car by as much as $3,000, potentially increasing the cost of moving agriculture products, for example, from South Tacoma to the Port of Tacoma by 40%. To address these congestions, we must improve capacity, especially with freight shipments expected to increase 50% by 2050. I know the ranking member, this is a big priority for him, as it has been a priority for me in the state of Washington. The President's infrastructure project helps us by doing the very things we need to do to invest. A historic $2.25 billion over 5 years for the Port Infrastructure Program, which is a tripling of funding for this program this year. We have seen the benefits of this program through the modernization of Terminal 5 at the Port of Seattle, which is helping us deal with the increased volume of goods. $350 billion in roads and bridges over the next 5 years, a 50% increase from the FAST Act of 2015. And DOT has already allocated money to our states that are helping us improve infrastructure. $8 billion in freight rail over 5 years through the CRISI program, a program that we authored in the surface transportation bill passed out of this committee, focusing on a grant program to help eliminate some of these most congested bottlenecks in our communities. And very much appreciate our colleagues' support on that. A $5 billion increase over 5 years in the new programs for mega projects that have national economic significance. Projects like this in my state, the I-5 bridge over the Columbia River, which joins Washington and Oregon, but is a critical part of the I-5 critical network all the way from the Canadian border down to Mexico. The department is also charged with helping minimize the impacts that our transportation infrastructure has on our environment. That means more than a century of building roads and bridges and infrastructures have resulted in devastating impacts to salmon in our state and other fish passage in many other states. And so that is why the National Culvert Removal and Restoration Program, providing grants to states, local governments, and tribes to help remove these culverts and replace and improve fish passage is a key priority. And so I look forward to hearing from the Secretary on this and many other issues. The department also needs to continue to focus on safety, both in air transportation safety and in our roads. The tragic increase of motor vehicle facilities has shown we have a long way to go. In my state, the state of Washington, there are 634 highway-related fatalities in 2021, which has the most increase since 2005. So I look forward to asking the Secretary about this. The budget request does help us improve safety and focusing on expanding the FAA's technical capacity with the National Air Grant Fellowship Program, an important step that Senator Blunt and I sponsored and was then included in our Air Transportation Safety Program. This is a great program in building the capacity of technical aviation assistance to every branch of government and including here on Capitol Hill. And so look forward and thank you for having that included in the budget. Safety must be a top priority in aviation, and it must be a top priority in aviation manufacturing. So we look forward to continuing to focus on that with the Secretary as well. So these are many issues that we have to discuss. We will be releasing soon our aviation report as it relates to the COVID package and the results of that package. I know that many of my colleagues today will also ask about refund issues, because part of that report will also show that refund issues and how the Department of Transportation could be helping consumers be guaranteed a right to those refunds. So with that, I'll turn it over to the ranking member.